Hello and thank you for joining us on News Now on TV360. I am Annetta Felix. One policeman has been killed by a gunman in Kebbi State, northwestern Nigeria. This was confirmed by the Kebbi State Police Command in a statement on Thursday. The police say the officer was gunned down in an attack at Kauje in Bagudo local government area of Kebbi. The suspect, identified as Bubugara Kwara, has already been arrested for the alleged offense. He will now be charged for the murder of the officer. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has asked the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to set up a special squad in Sokoto, Zamfara and Kebbi State. The demand was part of a resolution of the lawmakers following a debate on the killing of 26 persons in Sokoto and Zamfara states on Monday and Tuesday. The Senate have also asked the federal government to mandate the Air Force and Police Helicopter Division to carry aerial surveillance of Sokoto, Zamfara and Kebbi State with a view to identify the locations and hideouts of these bandits and deal with them decisively. The lawmakers also called for the synergy between the DSS and police and the armed forces with a view of sharing intelligence and strategies to embark upon in getting rid of the armed bandits. They also resolved to send a delegation to condole with the government and people of Sokoto State. Still on that very sad attack in Sokoto and Zamfara, President Muhammadu Buhari condemned the attacks and ordered security agencies to ensure that the suspects are apprehended. Not more than 26 people were killed in sporadic attacks on Monday and Tuesday, with the National Emergency Management Agency warning that the death toll may rise after 1,000 people were left homeless. The federal government has come under criticism over the attacks across the country, but President Buhari insists his government has prioritized the killings. He also vowed to spare no effort in putting an end to the killings in the country. The president and federal government officials have repeatedly accused politicians of taking advantage of the herdsmen and farmers' crisis in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the federal government has launched a new campaign against fake news. The Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, Lai Mohammed, launched the campaign during a press briefing in Abuja on Wednesday. The minister says the campaign has become important to curb the spread of fake news, adding that it is partly responsible for the killings across the country. He added that the campaign is important to ensure fake news does not divide Nigeria ahead of the crucial 2019 general election.
In a multi-ethnic, multi-religious country like ours, fake news is a time bomb. And in recent weeks, many anarchists have been doing everything possible to denote the bomb. But for the prudence and vigilance of Nigerians, they, the religious and ethnic bigots among us, would have set the nation on fire, especially over the farmers-herders clashes, as well as communal clashes. Unfortunately, instead of abating the fake news issue, which became a global phenomenon in the wake of the 2016 US election, has grown worse. Hence our decision to launch this national campaign against fake news. The essence of this campaign is to sensitize all Nigerians to the dangers posed to the peace and security, and indeed the corporate existence of Nigeria by the phenomenon, and the fact that each and every Nigerian has a role to play in curtailing the spread of fake news. The timing is also not unconnected to the role of fake news in aggravating the various crises in the country, as well as the need to check this phenomenon ahead of the 2019 elections.
In a bid to curb the activities of organized crime groups engaged in drug trafficking in Nigeria and Ghana, The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has engaged in a joint operation with drug law enforcement agencies in Ghana. The operation, codenamed Operation Eagle, supported by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, has resulted in the arrest of 22 suspected drug traffickers and seizure of substantial quantities of narcotics. At a press briefing in Lagos on Thursday, the NDLEA and UNODC gave further details of their efforts in fighting illicit drug production and trafficking.
Transnational organized criminals know no boundary. So we felt that if efforts are just get up in a particular country, the criminals are not stupid. What they do is they go to another country to operate. So what we're just trying to do is narrow the space for them by cooperating so that they will not see Nigeria as a weak end. They will not see Ghana as a weak end. But that does not also stop us from relating with our immediate neighbors and other strategic partners. And for the exercises that we have, the activities that we have, we've been really satisfied with the level of cooperation. So what we hope and plan to do further is to firm up the relationship, to enhance the effectiveness of countering transnational organized crime, specifically on drugs, but not limited to drugs.
The UNODC is here to support law enforcement responses and strengthen their responses. And as explained by the Director of Operations from the NDLEA, transnational organised crime by its very nature operates without borders. And we are here supporting Nigeria, but we do realise we need to make connections and mechanisms and arrangements so we can cooperate with other law enforcement agencies across the region and indeed across the world where the strategic need is there to do that. So we see this example and this demonstrative success of a joint operation as the start of something that we would like to expand on in the future to take Nigeria forward in its responses in relation to the trafficking of drugs through the region and across the region.
UNODC, in partnership with the project of my colleague, the project Focus in Nigeria, has been provided an extensive number of capacity building to robust the technical skills of NDLA, and the same we are doing with the Ghana counterparts that work on counter-narcotics efforts. But what we achieved together with both countries and due to their commitment is basically pooling resources between both countries, working in partnership towards a common goal. And the common goal is to disrupt criminal networks that operate in both countries, that interfere with the normal function of the countries. And also, and for us very, very important, is to have this exchange of experience on counter-narcotic efforts. During the period of the operation, the colleagues from Nigeria were deployed in Ghana to assist Ghanaian colleagues in their daily operations and vice versa, which means that we had also the Ghanaian colleagues in Nigeria hand-to-hand with the NDLA on the counter-narcotics actions. And this is for us also an element of success that contributed for streamline the cooperation between both countries.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has pledged to offer educational support to 11-year-old hyperrealist artist Kareem Olamileko. Ambode made the pledge when he met the talented artist at the State House in Ikeja on Thursday. Olamileko gained worldwide popularity after drawing a stunning portrait of French President Emmanuel Macron in just 2 hours on the spot during the president's visit to the new Africa Shrine in Lagos. He was hosted by the governor alongside his parents, teachers, and instructor.
You know, of course, that Waris was one of the star attractions when President Macron came last week, Tuesday, and he was able to draw the president while, a painting of him while he was sitting in the audience in less than 2 hours and presented it to President Macron. Of course, that before then, he has become something of a household name thanks to the special story done by TVC. So His Excellency the Governor has invited him and the parents to come and meet with him, and because he's also interested in his education, And if you like, the welfare of his parents, His Excellency has promised to assist, just like he did to the footprints of David's boys who had a special performance at the State House during the Children's Day. So he's interested in his school. We're happy that it's a product of a public school. You could say that the principal is here, he's happy. He has also acknowledged the contribution of his mentor, Wale, who is here. And because he also has an art academy, the sort of academy, if you like, that has inspired Waris, that has produced him, His Excellency the Governor thinks that art academy should flourish and is going to also support that thing, his career and what he's doing.
To politics now. Ahead of the Ekiti governorship election, the People's Democratic Party PDP has accused the All Progressives Congress APC of plotting to rig the July 14 polls. The PDP national chairman Uche Secondus made the allegations at a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday. He said the party has uncovered a plot by the APC to preload the voting machine and sway the outcome of the election for a predetermined candidate.
Information available to the PDP reveals that part of the rigging plot includes deploying of an APC state governor in each of the local governments across the state to coordinate the APC rigging plan. We also know that the APC rally on Tuesday, which was boycotted by the people of Ekiti State, was a gimmick to import talks from neighboring states. Our supporters, who have been placed at red alert, have been monitoring all unknown faces already milling around in various local government areas in the state. Also, our intelligence reveals that the 30,000 policemen, as well as compromised some military personnel deployed to Ekiti State, are being positioned to embark on mass arrest and harassment of Ekiti citizens with a view to frightening them and preventing them from participating in the election. We are not unaware that the stage is being set for the APC to use INEC to announce a predetermined result in Ekiti State governorship election. The PDP, however, states in a very clear, unequivocal terms that all this mechanization will end in vain, as nobody, no matter the evil device used. But harassment, threats, arrest, and even murder can subjugate the people of Ekiti State and forcefully take over their leadership in this election without the consent of the people.
Meanwhile, on Thursday, Uche Secondus led a protest to the National Assembly. The protest was against the alleged attack on the Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose by operatives at the Nigeria Police Force at Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, on Wednesday. Security operatives had on Wednesday blocked the entrance to the State House, and they allegedly shot tear gas canisters, which had allegedly affected the governor of the state. Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Jide Awe, has described the incidents between the governor and the police during a campaign rally of the PDP as the comedy of the year. The state governor, Ayo Fayose, on Wednesday said he was brutalized by policemen who allegedly stormed the main entrance to the Ekiti State Government House to stop a rally by the People's Democratic Party. Residents said gunshots were fired at the main entrance to the government house, while tear gas canisters were reportedly shot to disperse the crowd at the rally. The police has, however, denied attacking the governor and assured that their officers will maintain good conduct during the hotly contested polls. To diplomatic relations, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is seeking closer relationship with Nigeria. Ramaphosa made the request during a joint press statement with Nigeria's Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Ramaphosa said he recognized the current economic ties between Nigeria and South Africa and is looking to work on that to find a better relationship that will suit both countries.
Our government intends to pursue a Africa-focused foreign policy, but in pursuing that Africa-focused policy, we would like to deepen our relationship with Nigeria, seeing that Nigeria is the most populous country on the whole continent, whose economy is the largest on our continent. It is important that South Africa and Nigeria should develop and deepen the relationships between the two countries. We also had time, of course, to reconfirm that we do want to deepen the relations between the two countries, and to this end, we are going to focus on the binational commission that was set up between our two countries and make sure that the place where it is elevated to the president's level is where the real action should happen. We will expect our officials who will do the technical part of a number of things and our ministers to work on the various areas where we need to deepen our cooperation through agreements, and that when President Buhari and I meet, we will then be able to either sign off or to ensure that implementation happens.
We'll be taking a look at the business side of the news next on News Now.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
You're welcome to Business News. I am Esther Vese. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Abuja Light Rail at World Trade Center. The metro station is the first phase of the Abuja Light Rail mass transit, and it covers 12 stations within the metropolis. The 45.245-kilometer standard gauge rail line, which runs between Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport and the Abuja metro station, is also reportedly the first of its kind in West Africa. Buhari, in his address at the launching, expressed confidence that the rail line will provide and improve the Nigerian economy and transportation sector.
Transportation is the life wire of any city. I am very optimistic that a modern rail service would bring about a boost to the FCT economy and greatly enhance social life. I am aware that what we have on ground today are coaches meant to provide cateral services as we await the main set of the rolling stock for full operations. I have been briefed on the outcome of the Honorable Ministers of FTC and Finance recent visit to China, during which the Memorandum of Understandings and Agreements for the procurement of the main rolling stock were signed. May I therefore assure Nigerians of federal government's continued support for all the negotiations towards the realization of the Abuja light rail system.
Before the launch of the light rail, President Muhammadu Buhari had hinted that Nigeria will soon sign a $3 trillion African Free Trade Agreement. Buhari gave the hint at a news conference during a visit by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. The president had refused to join a continental free trade zone, which was established in March, on the grounds that he wants to defend Nigerian businesses. He has now said he is considering it.
I'm very careful about what I sign. Whether it is my checkbook
or agreements, especially when it involves a nation state. As your president has said, we are so populated and we have so many young unemployed students, and our industries are just coming up. So in trying to guarantee employment and goods and services to our country, we have to be careful with agreements that will compete, maybe successfully, against our own upcoming industries. I was presented with the document, which I'm a very slow reader, maybe because I was an ex-soldier. I didn't read it fast enough. Before my official saw that it was all right for signature, I kept it on my table. I will soon sign it.
The Nigerian Senate has directed its Committee on Aviation to carry out a holistic investigation into the contracts awarded for the design and reconstruction of the runway of the Akanu EBM International Airport, Enugu. The resolution was reached after deliberation on a motion sponsored by Senator Chukwukwa Utazi, representing Enugu North, who called for emergency reconstruction of the runway. Now, Utazi lamented that the airport is the first airport east of Niger that was built even before Nigeria's independence and was only upgraded to the status of international airport on August 24, 2013, long after Port Harcourt Airport was. Meanwhile, with a 0.0% decline in the all-share index, the equities market closed Thursday's trading with a total of 4.600 billion naira worth of shares traded in 3,228 deals. The percentage gainers in today's bearish market was dominated by international bureaus, Dangote Cement, Lafarge Africa, that's WAPCO, and Custodian Investment PLC. The percentage laggards, on the other hand, were led by Better Glass, 40 Oil, Nigerian Breweries, and Dangote Sugar. Meanwhile, Nigerian Aviation Handling Company PLC, that's NACO, Access Bank, Zenith Bank, and Sovereign Insurance were most patronized by investors, with over 223 million shares traded. The equities market closed with the market capitalization coming to a halt at 13.485 trillion naira. Well, that's all on business news. Thank you for watching. Aneta will return shortly with the rest of the news. Stay with us.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came out with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
You're welcome back. Not more than 1,413 migrants have died in the Mediterranean Sea this year alone while attempting to cross into Europe. This was revealed by the United Nations International Organization for Migration, IOM, on Thursday. It says the highest number was recorded in June, with 629 migrants losing their lives, raising fears and tension of humanitarian aid agencies, considering the fact that it was a sharp increase from the total of 48 deaths which were seen in the previous month of May. Months of clashes over land in southern Ethiopia have forced more than 800,000 people from their homes, the international community of the Red Cross ICRC says. There is a rapidly swelling humanitarian crisis in Gideon and West Guji, where the displaced are sleeping on the floors of crowded schools, office buildings, churches, and food and water are scarce, the ICRC added. Last year, hundreds of thousands of people were displaced during clashes between ethnic Oromas and Somalis. To news now in sport, Lokomotiv Moscow have completed the signing of Brian Idowu as a free agent after leaving Amca Perm at the back of their financial problems. During the winter break, the Vasta Stadion outfit reportedly ran out of cash, and they had their 2018 to 2019 Russian Premier League license revoked by the Russian Football Union, thus having the 26-year-old wing-back clubless. Idowu, who joined the Red and Blacks in 2010, will now begin a new chapter in his career after signing a 3-year deal with the Russian top-flight champions. Chelsea have finally sacked Antonio Conte and paved the way for Maurizio Sarri to replace him as the club's new head coach. Owner Roman Abramovich has risked paying Conte his full €9 million compensation bill, with the Italian ready to take a year out if no big jobs become available. Abramovich held off sacking Conte to see if a job became available that would save Chelsea having to pay him off, but the club have been left with little choice but to act, despite the Italian returning to take pre-season training since Monday. News broke from Italy that Conte had been sacked, and although Chelsea have refused to comment, reports say he officially left the club on Thursday. Serena Williams will face Angela Kerber in the final of 2018 Wimbledon. Williams overcame Julia Georges 6-2, 6-4 to advance to the final, while Kerber overcame Yelena Ostapenko 6-3, 6-3 in straight sets. The final on Thursday will be a repeat of the 2016 final won by Serena. Both women have faced each other 8 times in their career, with Serena recording the win head-to-head record 6-2. That's it on News Now. You can watch some of our other programs on our website at www.tv360nigeria.com or download our app on Play Store. It's TV360 Nigeria. Do watch us on Facebook at facebook.com/TV360online. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TV360 Nigeria. We're also live on YouTube at youtube.com/TV360 Nigeria. And on Google Plus, our handle is TV360 Nigeria. I am Annetta Felix. Thank you very much for watching.